Okay, all right then. So let's dive straight into part 3 of Money Game, the trilogy. Oh, wait. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to all of the lovers of lyric and voice. I am called the WordSmith, and this is a place where we unpick the golden threads of music and narrative with care, curiosity, and I hope a little eloquence. Today, we embark on the third chapter of Ren's extraordinary Money Game saga as a composition as searing and unflinching as it is poetic. Having traversed the first two parts together, we now stand at the threshold of this final installment, ready to explore its vocal intricacies, lyrical architecture, and emotional resonance. And hey, if you delight in these deep dive explorations, do glance at the links in the description below. Through Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, and the Super Thanks feature, you can help sustain and grow this channel, ensuring that thoughtful music analysis continues to flourish through the Wordsmith channel. So settle in and lend me your ears, and let's journey together into the heart of Money Game Part 3. That's enough out of me. Let's dive straight into it. Okay, already by the looks of it, this seems different. Oh, that's very different. That's completely different. Bit of classical piano. Nice rings. Oh, this technique. Very, very classical. Immensely, and the overlapping hand play. Oh, there you go. Yeah. That's quite... Is that Ren? I'm not surprised. A lot of people did tell me he's a multi-instrumentalist. So it's piano, guitar, what else? Oh, I love that. That's a vibe. Okay. Samuel and Ren video. Okay. Yeah, no, this is definitely different to anything that I was expecting. Okay. Was that not Ren? Wait, who's this? Okay, that guy's playing the piano. Is this Ren? Is it is? Is it? I don't know. I should probably just be patient. I'm 3 videos in, one after the other. I'm quite tired. Sorry if I sound stupid. Okay, no, it is Ren. It is, surely. Yes, of course. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Nice, okay. He's singing in his tenor voice. Right, okay. That's very pretty. Oh, yes. That familiar Money Game. Oh. Already, this is my favorite. Already. Okay, so Ren's Money Game Part 3. Very, very impressive start. It unfolds with the languid grace of a noir overture, a visual prologue that drapes the viewer in an atmosphere both sumptuous and sinister in my mind. And the camera lingers, then darts, its tempo swelling and ebbing like a troubled heartbeat, sketching a world where opulence and unease cohabit uneasily. We glimpse at the grand piano, polished to a black mirror sheen, and 2 figures in immaculate suits whose heads are shrouded in money bags cinched at the throat. And that's a chilling literal image of wealth as both mask and noose. This somber yet rhythmically vibey mise-en-scene sets the stage for Ren's continuing parable, the glamour of capital intertwined with its corrosive power, a fitting escalation from the raw, street revel allegories of part 1 and 2 into something almost operatic in its theatricality. Okay, let's keep this going. I mean, there wasn't even any lyrics and I had enough to analyze. But yeah, again, I'm such a nerd. Away we go.
Wrap me me tell you a story about a boy named
Oh, I heard about Jimmy before.
And his first words were mine. 2 years old, he was walking. 3 years old, walking quickly.
Okay.
4 years old, he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old, and his daddy told him, listen here, son.
Interesting.
You've got to learn to be a man. A man, he works for what he wants. 6 years old,
I know those types.
He's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old, and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10,
I get it.
11,
Yeah,
12,
that makes
13,
sense.
he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical
the music.
equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevated.
Damn.
16,
Smart dude.
develops complex software code that detects weaknesses
Okay.
in protocols.
Alright. Okay, cool. Sorry, sounded a bit like Matthew McConaughey there. Alright. Alright, let's deep dive. Wren's lyrical portrait of young Jimmy reads almost like a modern morality play. Its verses are deftly sketched bildungsroman of the acquisitive zeal. From the very first, we see a child whose vocabulary begins not with mama or papa, but with the staccato grasping cry of mine, gimme. Miniature capitalist in waiting, hungry for possession before he can even properly form a bloody sentence. And as the imagery shifts from crawling to walking, then running through the city, we sense a quickening pulse, the restless propulsion of ambition that will soon define him. And at 5, a fatherly dictum that manhood is measured by earning and striving. And that fixes itself like an iron nail, and his moral scaffolding making industry and acquisition synonymous with worth. Really messed up way of living, but the lyrics then chart his meteoric intellectual ascent. Student number 1, lauded for impossible grades, private schooling as a hothouse for rare blooms, solving abstruse equations at 15. Near mythic IQ. By 16, he is coding security software sophisticated enough to sniff out digital chinks in corporate armor, the harbinger of a fortune not yet minted. So, this sequence is no idle backstory. It is a cautionary exposition of nurture entwined with nature, of a boy whose gifts and parental tutelage are yoked to a creed where money is the means to all ends. It is, in essence, the forging of a gilded cage. The very conditions that propel Jimmy to dizzying heights also prime him for ethical erosion and existential crisis. The moral battleground Wren is going to unspool for us here, in the money game, reaches its devastating crescendo. Okay, the song has an unusual amount of depth to it. Not unusual for him, but in music generally. I'm doing a podcast episode on the modern day depth, meaning, and profundity of music. Is it lost? Has it been gained? So when the podcast does come out, I think it'll probably be end of November, early December. I will let you know when it does, but please do support that endeavor. Okay, here we go. Let's keep it going.
Protocol 17 and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire.
Oh, the amount of pressure.
18 and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take over.
I hate Jimmy's dad.
19, he turns a profit, stocks and
Okay.
shares, invest in product, 20 double down.
Oh, I'm loving the rhythmic cadence.
22, he learns the truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself.
Yep, true.
23, a life of luxury, crystal and cocaine. 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25,
Right.
and his daddy tells him, listen here, son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms.
The psychological damage that his father has done.
28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's
Oh,
suite. Now
wow.
he's 30. His
Who
daddy
is
says,
this?
you're losing the race. You're just a servant servant to the king, not even in second place. 31 a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of
Oh
Cuba.
dear.
32 moving crowds,
Yeah,
growing
saw that coming.
kilos to tons. He's 33 filling warehouses with powder and guns.
Oh man,
34
this
turf war with nobody to stop it.
there's so much. It's so much.
Inside of his pocket.
Oh wow. Ren's narrative now accelerates into a dizzying fugue of succession and corrosion, as though Jimmy's life has been set to a metronome whose tick quickens with each verse. And now by 17, he is no longer merely precocious but entrepreneurial, selling visions and retaining slices of profit, a millionaire in waiting before the ink is even dry on his A-levels. At 18, his father's creed hardens into something almost Darwinian. The world is pitiless, take what you can, and Jimmy obliges, plunging headlong into profits, stocks and investments that between 19 and 21 erupt into this vertiginous cascade of wealth. By 24, he has scaled the neon pinnacle, Forbes-less, crystal, cocaine, the perfumed trappings of victory, yet Ren begins to tint the palette darker. At 25, the father issues a warning. Privilege is not power, success is not a triumph. And by 26, Jimmy has turned from clever commerce to, arms dealing and nuclear contraband. His influence metastasizing into politics by 28 and 29. The boy who once solved equations now buys Senate seats and whispers in the presidential suite, but at 30 is told he remains a pawn in a larger unseen game. From 31 to 34, the verses seethe with smuggled drugs, warehouse stockpiles, and bloody turf wars. The police comfortably in his pocket as corruption completes its circles. And you know what? This is no mere gangster ballad. It is a parable of ambition, unmoored from conscience, of paternal maxims and societal imperatives congealing into a trap. Ren frames Jimmy's Odyssey not as a hero's journey, but as a cautionary aria, a reminder that the money game is a ladder whose rungs are slick with compromise, leading ever upwards, yet never outwards towards freedom. It's a game that keeps you trapped. It's so much, there's so much lyrical weight. It's actually, because the thing is, the music is so good, and it's just a classical piano. And then you have the lyrics. When you get two things that are that unbelievably well managed, well produced, well made, very, very well thought out, and then put them together, it makes for a reaction and analysis marathon. And I've already done 3 videos in a row here. I mean, what has it been? Like over an hour and 45 minutes worth of recording. And yeah, I mean, kudos to all of you who have watched from beginning to end. You have an ironclad constitution when it comes to taking in content. Okay, so let's keep it going. It's been an absolute pleasure thus far. A lot of lyrical profundity to dive into. But here we go. Pocket. Love the English accent. Oh wait, he's Welsh.
35. He gets the call. I'm sorry, son, but it's your father. Had a heart
Oh,
sorry, he's gone.
okay. All right.
Getting pissed off, abusing his product.
Okay. I'm seeing it. Yeah, that's making no sense.
With a prostitute, a moment of passion, heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon.
That's a great line.
Getting reckless and hungry for power.
Right, yeah.
Words are still driving him to kill and devour.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed.
What?
Who? Hospital ward. A bullet
like.
in his vertebra.
Oh no.
In his leg. The doctor sighs and says, "I don't think you'll be walking again." Fuck.
Oh jeez, that's such a shit. Honestly. Who is this? Like, is Jimmy just a name used anonymously? Who is this? All right. Ren's narrative now plunges Jimmy into a chiaroscuro of grief and self-destruction. I love that word, by the way. It's a dramatic pivot from gilded ascent to gothic downfall. At 35, the linchpin of his life, his father, both tormentor and tutor, drops dead of a sudden heart attack. And with him collapses the one voice that gave Jimmy's chaos its grim coherence. Bereft, he reaches not for solace before oblivion, chasing the dragon with a silver spoon, the lyrics' imagery evoking heroine's silken grip and his own privileged ruin. His eyes grow glazed, his demeanor demonic. Ren paints a man possessed, rotting from within, yet still mouthing his father's creed to kill him and devour, as if the doctrine has outlived the preacher. It's a reckless tryst with a prostitute that underscores the moral squalor into which he has descended. And then comes his overreach, a move against a cartel that backfires catastrophically, and bullets biting into the vertebra and leg, the doctor's pronouncement that he may never walk again, which sort of lands like a Greek oracle's curse in my ears. And this episode is less a fall from grace than a grotesque fulfillment of the path set in motion decade before, a tableau of inherited trauma and cyclical violence where the money game exacts its final intimate toll. Okay, so part 1 and 2 were very, very full in terms of lyrical profundity and depth and meaning. This, I would say, has been the heaviest out of all 3, which people did tell me. But yeah, hearing it for the first time now, I get it. So let's keep it going. Really tragic story about Jimmy. Okay, so let's keep this going then, shall we?
Walking again, fuck.
All these bottles just being thrown about. Okay, right. I do love the English accent. Although he's Welsh, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so what's going on here? Okay, YouTube, stop being buggy, I beg. Okay. Alright, so there's a string quartet behind, and Ren is counting them in. I'm interested.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40, and he cursed the words, mine,
oh, wow.
gimme. 41, he wasn't walking. 42, not walking quick.
Oh, no.
43, never running round the
That's so sad.
44, inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his
This is
conscience
stunning.
is the value
Wow, Ren.
of gold. Lamborghini for a
He's
life, trading
peaking.
money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him. And it's a version of she. And it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic.
Oh my gosh.
For money and fame. Cut the music.
Give me a minute. The fact that the violin came in and the string quartet came in, but what was so interesting is that the violin started playing that vocal riff that Ren has been using in parts 1 and 2 and part 3, and it played it, and the music just moved me in a way that I didn't expect. I don't want to get too personal, but there's a reason. I've written a poem about it, and maybe one day you guys can hear it. But yeah, I get it. Ren has... This is peak Ren. This is the best song I've ever heard from him, and it's not even done. So, okay, let's dive into that. Give me a minute. Okay, so Ren's verses here render Jimmy's story as a kind of modern-day morality requiem, in which the once omnipotent tycoon sits amid his palace with a mountain of gold like a hollowed-out Midas. Look, he's now 40. He spits back the infantile mantra, mine, mine, gimme, as though it were poison. It's a bitter incantation of everything that has led him to this point. His body is crippled, and it's diminished, becomes the outward correlative of an inner wasteland. Wealth that once glittered now resembles rubble, Lamborghinis and crystal transmuted into symbols of lives traded and souls bartered. Ren universalizes the tale with an almost Brechtian flourish. It's a version of him, of she, of you, turning Jimmy from a single protagonist into a mirror of systemic avarice, a society whose land of the free runs on taking more than it needs. The climactic F, the money and fame, cut the music, functions as both renunciation and curtain fall, a breaking of the fourth wall in which the spectacle stops and silence invites reflection. Thus, Jimmy's arc closes, not simply as an individual tragedy, but as an indictment of the parasitic values that groomed him, a somber invitation to listeners to look beyond the glitter of success and reckon with the cost. Okay, let's keep going. This song has been unbelievable.
We live as parasitic, fuck for money and fame, cut the music.
Interesting. Spoken word? Yes?
This isn't entertainment. This is real life. The way we live is lunacy, community, it declines.
Oh, interesting.
Polarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Borders an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution.
Oh, right. Okay. So what's going on here? It's a nice suit. His tie is loose. It'd be weird to see Ren like a proper three-piece suit, full get-up. Okay, so he's grabbing the gun. That is a... I know what gun that is. Okay. This is a very deep...
Everything is subject to change.
Indeed.
We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains.
Yes.
But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me,
yep,
then there's no future I see where the humans survive with parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface and consume till it dies.
Yep.
And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise.
Oh, that's so good. I can't explain to you how good that was, but it was that good. So, all right, let's break that down. So Ren's lyrics here act as a clarion call, transforming social critique into something almost palpably theatrical. Look, from the outset, these woes are not entertainment but urgent realities. The lunacy and erosion of community mirror the fragmentation documented in contemporary societies, where trust and cooperation wither and identity splinters. So when we think of it this way, hyperpolarization, which is something that he observes, is no mere abstraction. It renders adversaries mortal enemies, corrodes dialogue, and fuels violence, a phenomenon amplified by social media echo chambers and the proliferation of misinformation, something that all of us should know very well by now. Money, politics, and borders are depicted as human constructs, artfully imagined, yet powerfully consequential, while law and order, rather than ameliorating conflict, can exacerbate it. Yet within the stark tableau, Ren imagines transformation, a world where education fosters critical thinking and collective responsibility rather than conformity and selfishness, and where the possibility of utopia, however elusive, is not dismissed. His metaphor of parasitic humans in a petri dish cannibalizing one another just underscores the existential stakes. A society unchecked will self-destruct, the mold consuming the surface as a dire warning to all. It is a vision simultaneously bleak and instructive, compelling reflection on both individual and systemic complicity. Tremendous message. Okay, continuing on. I think we're just going to let this play all the way through. Okay, are the string quartet coming back in? I hope so. Oh, no, it's raining.
45.
Yes.
Jimmy comes home out of the
Love
rain,
me the quartet.
soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again.
Oh,
He is
jeez.
everything he wants. He is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an
Oh.
unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber
Oh,
aimed
no.
at his brain. 45 a fitting
Yeah.
number because his age is the same.
I made that
Hear
observation
the words
too.
of his father. It's such a damn shame.
Someone told me that phrase has
Then he
significant
presses
meaning.
on the trigger of a money game.
Perfect ending. Waiting for the bang. No bang? Oh, gosh. That's a bloody deep song, my days. Yeah, I mean, hands down, that's the best thing I have ever reacted to. And I gotta say, Ren's closing vision of Jimmy as a tableau drenched in elegiac darkness where physical collapse mirrors moral and emotional desolation. Soaked and confined to a wheelchair, Jimmy embodies the corporeal and psychic toll of a life spent in relentless pursuit of power and wealth. A fortunate fool, where fortune is again a gilded cage. The grim motif of the 45 caliber aimed at the brain resonates with symbolic precision, age and intent intertwined, marking a final irrevocable act of surrender to that corrosive money game. So even in this terminal moment, the father's voice lingers, a spectral echo of expectation and judgment, highlighting the inherited pressures, that societal imperatives that shaped Jimmy's trajectory. This narrative is more than personal tragedy. It is a meditation on ambition and tempered by conscience, an allegory of human complicity within capitalist and hierarchical systems, where the pursuit of gain can culminate to self-destruction, and legacy becomes both burden and indictment. So, Ren's Money Game, Part 3. That stands as an extraordinary testament to the power of music and storytelling, a work of rare emotional, intellectual, and societal resonance. Across its sweeping narrative, we follow Jimmy from the impetuous cries of childhood through meteoric rises of wealth and power into corruption, physical collapse, and ultimate despair. The trilogy in itself does not merely chronicle ambition, it dissects the psychological, the ethical, and systemic forces that shape human behavior, laying bare the corrosive interplay between parental expectation, societal constructs, and the relentless pursuit of material success. So, Ren here, the lyrics are at once intimate and universal, blending narrative brilliance with piercing social critique, examining hyperpolarization, consumerism, and moral compromise while exploring the human cost of greed in a world that venerates power above conscience. So, musically and lyrically, this trilogy is a triumph. I mean, it mends and melds theatricality, sophistication, and emotive potency to create a work that resonates long after the final note is finished, marking it for me as one of the most profound, deep, meaningful pieces of music and lyricism that I've ever encountered in recent memory. It's a mirror reflecting both our individual and collective vulnerabilities, ambitions, and ethical reckonings. So, again, thank you so much for recommending this. This was the journey of a lifetime for me. And thus concludes our shared exploration of the Ren's Money Game trilogy, a piece as arresting in its message as it is masterful in its delivery. I am truly grateful that you've chosen to spend a large amount of your time with me in this video, and your presence just turns analysis into dialogue and reaction into community, and I can't thank you enough for that. If today's journey spoke to you, I warmly invite you to comment below with your thoughts, like this video if it resonated with you, and subscribe to the Wordsmith for even more in-depth forays into the world of music, voice, and lyrical meaning. Please also consider sharing this analysis with fellow lovers of thoughtful artistry, music, and just profound lyrics in general. For those who wish to support the channel more directly, you'll find links in the description to our Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, and the Super Thanks feature here on YouTube below. Every gesture of support, however small, helps sustain the craft and care that goes into these explorations. Until next time, dear friends, be kind, be gentle, be respectful to one another, and help each other out when you can. And I'll see you, ladies and gentlemen, in the next video. Take care, everyone. Cheers.